Today we'll be talking about peritoneum. Peritoneum is a serous membrane that is covering abdominal and pelvic cavities. So let's consider the peritoneum in detail. So let's imagine that a balloon is seen inside the abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity, and this balloon is going to get invaginated by the organs. Organs are formed on the posterior abdominal wall. Now from there, these organs are entering into the anterior aspect of the body cavity. Suppose the abdominal cavity is filled with a balloon. It is empty. There are no organs, and there is a balloon which is there inside the abdominal cavity, and we are going to invaginate structures from posterior aspect into the balloon. So let's imagine that this is the anterior aspect, and this is abdominal cavity, and this is a balloon which is there in the abdominal cavity, anterior and posterior aspect. From the posterior aspect, the hand is representing the organ that is entering into the balloon. So initially the balloon, which is having a layer here, a single layer balloon, when the hand invades or invaginate into the balloon become double layer. Where you can see this is the outer layer of the balloon, and the outer layer, then it becomes an inner layer. Inner layer can be seen, which is surrounding the organ, or which is surrounding the hand here. And the balloon, which was initially a single layer, it become double layer now. The parietal layer, outer layer, and the inner layer. In between the parietal and the outer layer, there is a cavity, and that cavity here is represented by the air. It is, we are considering, when we consider the balloon, here it is air. Whereas when we consider the peritoneum, this is the peritoneal cavity. So here, this is the parietal layer, becomes the inner layer of the peritoneum. So outer and inner layer of peritoneum. So parietal peritoneum and visceral peritoneum. In between these two, there is a area, that is peritoneal cavity, which is filled with peritoneal fluid, which is produced by the serous membrane, the lining epithelium, that is simple squamous epithelium, that is seen in the inner aspect of the parietal and the visceral peritoneum. So this hand, which is invaginating into the balloon, represents the organ. So we can see that here the organ is called as intraperitoneal. It is going into the peritoneum, but remember that the organ is never inside the peritoneal cavity. The peritoneal cavity, we have only the peritoneal fluid, which is a minimal space, whereas the organ is still considered to be outside the peritoneum. But since it is covering, the peritoneum is covering almost all the parts of the organ, we can call it as intraperitoneal organ. Now let's consider in detail this. The hand is invaginating into the balloon, where the outer layer is a parietal serous membrane, and continuing as the inner serous membrane, the inner layer of the balloon, between the parietal and the parietal and the visceral layer, the peritoneal cavity, and the fist is representing the organ, the posterior and anterior aspect of the abdominal cavity. Now this is how it happens. Anterior posterior aspect, the organ which is placed on the posterior aspect, which is developed in the posterior aspect, posterior abdominal wall, that slowly tries to invaginate into the balloon. This is representing the balloon here, the abdominal cavity filled with balloon. Initially, slowly it invaginate from the posterior aspect into the inner aspect, where we can see the organ is placed on the inner aspect now. Now the parietal peritoneum can be seen here, continuing as the visceral peritoneum covering the organ. Visceral peritoneum, after covering the organ, it is connected to the posterior abdominal wall. So this we can see there is a gap between the two layer of the peritoneum here, through which structures like vein, artery, they enter and supply the organ. Because these structures are coming either from posterior or lateral abdominal wall or the pelvic wall. So they are connected, they are entering into the organ through this gap between the two layers of peritoneum, that can be seen. Again, slowly the organ still invaginate into the peritoneal cavity. So this cavity here is the peritoneal cavity, and the two layers approximate each other, but still allowing the structures, nerves, vessels to enter the organ. Now remember here that this organ is called to be intraperitoneal, but still we can see from this diagram that organ is still lying outside the peritoneum, because you can see that this is the peritoneal cavity. Peritoneal cavity is only filled with peritoneal fluid. There are no organs in this area. So that is why we say that the organs, when we say even though it is intraperitoneal, there are no organs which are seen inside the peritoneal cavity. Again, we can see that clearly that the parietal peritoneum becoming the visceral peritoneum, anterior and posterior aspect of the abdominal wall. So the visceral peritoneum covering the organ, and it is going back to the posterior abdominal wall. So there are two layers of peritoneum, and this area of the peritoneum that is connecting the organ to the posterior abdominal wall is called mesentery. So mesentery is a term which we use when it's considered to be the intestine. This organ is considered to be intestine. Anyway, so this part of the peritoneum that is connecting the organ to the posterior abdominal wall, that is called mesentery here, as in case of intestine. You can also see there is a gap between this where the structures can either enter or leave the organ through this area. So this is considered to be intraperitoneal organ. This area is the peritoneal cavity. Another view where anterior and posterior aspect. This organ is invaginating from posterior aspect to the anterior aspect. While it does so, it carries the blood supply along with it. And the parietal peritoneum that reaches the lateral abdominal wall, posterior abdominal wall. So there are some organs which are covered. This is a kidney. The peritoneum is going to cover the anterior aspect of the kidney, only the anterior aspect of the kidney, and they are called retroperitoneal organs, because this organ, the anterior aspect of the organ is covered by peritoneum, no other areas. But here we can see that almost all of the area of this organ is covered by peritoneum, so it is called intraperitoneal. This is a retroperitoneal. Retro means behind. We can also see after covering the organ, the visceral peritoneum continue backwards, two layers of which forms the dorsal ligament, or you can say the part of the peritoneum that is connected to the posterior abdominal wall. Here we call it as mesentery. The name changes. Okay. Anyway, you should know the concept now, because we have a detailed class on peritoneum. And now after that, it is again covering the posterior abdominal wall. So when it does so, it is going to cover the anterior aspect of the kidney. So again, the kidney becomes retroperitoneal, and it covers the lateral aspect, anterior aspect, as the parietal peritoneum. So the space between parietal and the visceral peritoneum is called the peritoneal cavity. Anyway, I hope this is clear. Here the peritoneal cavity derives from the intra-embryonic coelom, which is a cavity in the embryonic stage. Structures derived from gut tube invaginate into the cavity from the dorsal aspect, as we discussed before. The dorsal mesentery suspends the gut loop. So gut loop, which is suspended to the posterior abdominal wall by the dorsal mesentery, which is nothing but the peritoneum, the two layers of the peritoneum that we can see here. Visceral peritoneum, after covering the organ, goes back to the posterior abdominal wall. So this is taken at the 5th week of the developing embryo. Now this is an adult female section, sagittal section, female pelvis and abdomen, where we can see that there are organs inside the abdominal cavity, and the peritoneum also can be seen in this. And this is sagittal section. So when we consider the peritoneum is complicated because there are different organs inside the abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity. We can also see that the peritoneum, which is represented as the blue color, is covering the abdominal aspect or abdominal cavity and the peritoneal, and the pelvic cavity also, pelvic organs as well. Now, why I said it's complicated, because there are different organs which can be seen inside the abdomen and the pelvis. Not only that, their positions are different, and developmentally the intestines, they undergo a lot of twisting and rotations. So the peritoneum also has to undergo all those changes. So ultimately, as in adult, when we see here, it looks a little complicated, but let's make it more simple. So I think it's clear, the parietal and the visceral peritoneum and the peritoneal cavity. Now let's see how these things are seen in the adult body. So here let's consider from the anterior aspect, parietal peritoneum, that is covering the anterior abdominal wall, goes upwards covering the inferior aspect of the diaphragm. After that, it is reflected onto the liver as the visceral peritoneum, covering the anterior surface, inferior surface of the liver. From the liver, it is reflected onto the stomach as the visceral peritoneum, covering the anterior aspect of the stomach, goes downwards and reflected back and covers the transverse colon. This is transverse colon, the inferior aspect of the transverse colon, that reaches the posterior abdominal wall, reaching the posterior aspect of the abdominal wall, and that forms the parietal peritoneum, again reflected onto the intestines as the mesentery. Here this is mesentery, and you can see it is covering the intestines, again going back down onto the posterior abdominal wall. This structure is mesentery, again it is reflected onto the intestine. So this happens repeatedly because it is small intestine which is of 6 meters in length, and ultimately after covering all these things, it reaches back to the posterior abdominal wall and again becoming the parietal peritoneum. Remember, when it is covering the posterior abdominal wall, anterior abdominal wall, lateral abdominal wall, pelvic wall, they are called as parietal peritoneum, but whenever it covers organ, it is visceral peritoneum. Now the parietal peritoneum that continues downwards covers the uterus as visceral peritoneum, again covering urinary bladder, becoming parietal peritoneum, covering the posterior aspect of anterior abdominal wall. Now the area between the parietal peritoneum and the visceral peritoneum here is called the peritoneal cavity, which is filled with peritoneal fluid. Now let's consider some of the area that is behind the stomach. We can also see that here the peritoneum that is covering the pancreas, that moves upwards. Now pancreas, you can see the pancreas, the anterior aspect of the pancreas is covered with the peritoneum. So pancreas can be called as retroperitoneal organ, and after covering the pancreas, it becomes the parietal peritoneum, goes upwards covering the inferior aspect of the diaphragm. From there it is reflected onto the diaphragm, posterior surface, inferior surface, again at the level of porta hepatis of the liver. The peritoneum is reflected back to the stomach, covering the posterior aspect of the stomach, going downwards and again coming upwards, covering the superior aspect of the transverse colon and again reaching the posterior abdominal wall, and this layer continues the journey. Now this is called as a again it is a dorsal mesentery, can be called as transverse mesocolon. You'll understand slowly as the class proceeds. So these are the general things that at least you should know about the peritoneum. So remember, a single layer structure, which we consider as a balloon, because of the invagination of different structures, it becomes double layer, and as we can see here, there are parietal and the visceral peritoneum. In between we have the uh, peritoneal cavity. Peritoneal cavity usually is a closed sac in males, whereas in females it is not a closed sac because there is an opening in the fallopian tube through which the ovum is captured by the fallopian tube from the ovary. So we know that the peritoneum is going to cover all of these organs, but when it covers this area on the medial aspect of the fallopian tube, there is a gap through which the ovum released from the ovary goes into the fimbria of the fallopian tube. So in females it is an open area, you can say that. In females it is an open sac, whereas in males it is a closed sac. So let's consider the peritoneum in detail in the coming classes.